What's up, guys? Welcome back to the shop. In today's video we're going to finish up this knife. We're going to resand it down and re-etch it to get some of this coffee etch off because I wasn't happy with the results. It looks cool, but up close I lost a lot of the fine details that I really liked, since it's a different kind of Damascus than what we're used to using coffee stain for it. So it was more of an experiment, and I really didn't like the way it turned out, so we're going back to good old-fashioned just a regular ferric chloride etch. So let's get started. First thing we're gonna do is knock off this point right here, round it out a little bit, and then we're gonna hand sand it and choose out a piece of wood for it. Let's get started. Alright guys, I'm gonna hand sand it with 1000 grit, see if that does the job. And getting off that thin layer of oxide from the coffee. Hopefully it does the trick. If not, I'll have to drop down to a finer grit and then go back to 1000. Seems like it did the trick. Alright guys, I got a mess on my table, but I had forgotten to put my maker's mark on here, so I'm gonna have to put my maker's mark and etch it in. Something about this maker's mark. The way I do it is that I use a vinyl cutter that I have at home, and I use that to cut out my logo, which is this JP right here. And then all I do is bring it up here. And if you want a video explaining more of this in detail, how I did it, I can do that. Just comment it down below if you want to see a video on the little machine that I have that does this. But being a beginner knife bladesmith, sometimes it's hard to acquire certain tools because of just because of price. And the etching machine, the whole combo to do this, was gonna run me about $500, and I didn't want to spend $500. Not saying that it's not worth the money, you know, to invest into being able to make quality knives and quality work for clients, but I mean, when you're starting off, $500 is $500. And on top of all the other stuff that you have to get, like expensive ass tooling, expensive you know, you have to buy knife metals just to start. I mean, you can do it with other things. I've done it with leaf spring and other recycled materials. But if you want to make good quality knives, you got to get the good quality steel, and it's steel that you already know how it's going to act. Not all recycled steel is going to act the same way, because of wear and tear, or just because of, you know, usage and how it's been treated. All right, so I cover it up with tape. Then I got my little handy dandy little rigged up toy right here that I use. And all you really need is just, oops, not the camera. And all you really need is the special iodine solution that they market for you that costs a lot of, well, it might not cost a lot of money, but it costs money nonetheless. And in reality, all it is salt water. Salt water does the same thing. And you pass a very low voltage electrical current through salt water. This is my little wand that I'm going to be using. Just run an electrical current through salt water, and it causes a chemical reaction that just burns metal, oxidizes it quickly, or burns into it. And here's the special solution. I got some regular plain salt right there. Got some plain salt. What I'm gonna do is just pour some in here. Probably pour too much, doesn't matter. Make salt water. We got the positive on one end of the knife. Always make sure you put the positive on the tang of the knife. That way you're not scratching anything. I learned that the hard way. Kept scratching knives. And you just apply. As you can see, it's slowly changing color. That's where it's burning into the metal. I hold it in 3-second intervals. 1, 2, 3. Remove. 1, 2, 3. Remove. Every now and then dip it back into the water. Clean off excess. 1, 2, 3. Remove. 1, 2, 3. Remove. 1, 2, 3. Remove. 1, 2, 3. Remove. And so on. And all this is doing is burning wherever the salt water is touching. And since I have the vinyl over with my design over the metal, it's gonna burn in just the design into the knife. You could also make a punch with your maker's mark on it. I haven't made one yet. I'm gonna make one in a future video. I haven't tried one, but to me this was the easier approach. Took a while to figure out how to make the machine, but I can explain all that in a future video if that's what you guys want, and just comment down below if that's what you want. Overall, I put maybe 20 bucks into making this little contraption. It works very well. That's it. Marks on there. If you pass your nail through it, it grabs. So it's etched nice and deep in there. Now all I have to do is clean it up, get it real nice and clean, and then I'll drop it into the etching. And we etch again. Alright, take it out. It's been in there for about a minute. It's beautiful. Exactly what I wanted. And I'll clean it up and see what it looks like. Alright guys, so I got the knife right here. It looks pretty nice. You got plenty of detail showing, but and you probably can't see it on camera, but it has a lot of lines going through it that just appeared right now on this etch. You can see them right there, and it's probably because there were smaller lines, and as I etched it more, they became more apparent, and I can't have a knife look like this. It looks not good. So sadly, I'm gonna have to hand sand it from scratch again. Alright guys, well, I hand sanded it again up to 1000 grit. It's just looking mighty beautiful now. So I gotta hit it at an angle so this light up here can show you guys. Oh, my bad. Right there. Alright guys, so as you can see, it's looking mighty great. I'm finally happy with it. Now we can move on to the handle. Alright guys, so the knife has been sharpened, it has been handled, and it's ready to go. I only sharpened it with a 220 grit belt. I sharpened it with a 220 grit belt, and then I stropped it to make sure it has a nice clean edge. And I did a 220. 220 is plenty. 220 will still produce razor sharp knife, as you can see. 220 is, whenever you sharpen it, all you're doing is creating really tiny fine teeth. The higher the grit, the smaller the teeth, the finer the cut. But since this is going to be more of a hunting knife type of knife, I would rather have it have a little bit of a grippy cut. You don't always have to go to very high grits to get a clean cut. What you need to do is make sure that you create a burr, and then you remove the burr with a strop at the end, and it'll give you a very sharp knife every time. It took me a while to get it. Honestly, I just got it like, I've been making knives for a year now. I guess close to a year. Yeah, it's about close to a year since I started making knives, and I'm barely getting down the sharpening process. My knives do not come out this sharp, anywhere near this sharp, especially the first videos I made. My knives were not nearly as sharp as they are now, but that's the beauty of this. You learn as you go. So now I can make very sharp knives, and they'll shave. No, not really, I ain't shaving my beard. But that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you liked, be sure to drop me a like down below, and drop any comments on future ideas for future knives and future builds. And if you're not already subscribed, be sure to subscribe so you can keep getting content like this in your feeds. And I'll be posting every Thursday. And thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you. I'll see you later.